everybody. Welcome to the Bark Night Podcast. I am your host, Patrick.
And I'm Dan.
So this week is our 41st episode, and we are doing our episode on the new Marvel movie, Thunderbolts, which is the 36th MCU film and the final film of Phase 5.
Right. It's crazy they got that high. Like, 35 is such a big number. 36, sorry.
I was going to say, it is a big number, and this is even bigger.
You said Phase 5, 5, 6, that stuff happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movies.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day, like, how many movies there were in the MCU. I'm like, 25-ish. I'm way off.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. So let's just jump right into it. So I'll just say, starting off, we're going to discuss spoilers. They're literally everywhere right now. And, light spoilers are all out there.
Right.
The marketing for the movie has now
Changed.
turned into a giant spoiler for the movie. So there's really no way around it. So I'm not even going to try and tiptoe it. We're just going to talk just get right into it.
I literally opened up my phone and my Instagram was like, hey, guess what? Like, oh, good thing I watched the movie already.
Yeah, exactly. You saw those things I sent you too, right?
Yeah.
So what Dan and I are alluding to is Marvel has officially retitled the movie The New Avengers as of today. And this includes all of their marketing material too. So they've got billboards that starting yesterday, they started remasking with this new name. Up until now, it was Thunderbolts with the asterisks.
Yep.
So billboards, posters, everything is getting rebranded now to the New Avengers.
Right. And
this is unprecedented.
Really a wild piece of what's the word here? Not merchandising, promotion maybe? Is that it? Or advertising, I should say. To have a movie come out and then within the first weekend of the movie to change its name. It's pretty crazy. It's going to cause word of mouth.
Intentionally too.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was part of the plan the whole time.
Yeah, I thought the asterisk on the Thunderbolts is because of Thunderbolt Ross. The Red Hulk. I thought that's why they were going to lean into it. Be like, oh, we can't be named after the Red Hulk. But nope, they dropped the New Avengers on us.
Yep, it's big news. It's very big news. My hope is that, and I kind of don't think we're going to get this, but my hope would be that we get to spend a little bit of time with this specific team, but I don't think we get to, right?
I don't think so.
Which is kind of unfortunate, but
I feel like the way they set it up is, well, we can go around that later. It's just talk about the movie for now.
Yeah. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, so first off, the plot of this movie is after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. So the budget for the movie is $180 million. Over the weekend, it took number one at the box office with $76 million in North America, $162.1 million worldwide.
That's a big number.
So, yeah, as is expected, the movie's going to make its money back because it's not always anymore, but most of these MCU movies do pretty damn well at the movies.
Especially when there's good vibes, good word of mouth. Yes, thank you. And once that happens, then they can really get, like we've talked about movies having legs before. People will go watch this movie a couple times because it's an MCU movie, and that's just kind of what people do.
Yeah, and I think this whole thing with the retitling of it, it's so Marvel, their rule that the Russos released during the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame movie is they were like, hey, don't put spoilers on social media.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk about these things until Monday.
Yeah.
Come Monday, all bets are off. Talk about it all you want, but give everybody a chance to see it opening weekend. And this kind of reinforces that idea of like, hey, if you didn't see this opening weekend, sorry about it. You're not going to, like, you didn't get in on it.
Right.
You weren't in on the joke with it, or not the joke, but the secret with it.
The reveal. Yeah, and it's not like a huge thing, just changing the title of the movie. I mean,
it's not.
They mentioned the Thunderbolts a few times in passing during the movie, but it's not like they had a motto or they were like, they didn't have shirts printed with the name on them yet. They're just kind of a last minute, we're going to do this so that we have a reason for having the asterisks on there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think now that they've retitled this, it's going to build some buzz, and probably you'll get a lot more people wanting to go see it.
Right. And also, again, like, I mean, we've been there. The Marvel movies, the last little bit, haven't been the same quality as when it first started. So to get one coming out, have this promotional reveal, this way of getting people in the seats, and then also have, from what I've seen, I'm sure you're gonna touch on it next, is got good word of mouth so far.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that is what I was about to cover. So on IMDb, 7.7 out of 10.
That's good.
That's pretty good. Rotten Tomatoes, even better. We got 88% critics, 94% audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the critics are really liking it, but the audience is loving
Love it. Yeah.
Metacritic, don't know what the hell's going on over there.
63.
They gave it a 68.
68, okay.
Yeah. So,
they don't like anything.
no, apparently that's the thing is because with them too, a couple contrarians
Mm-hmm.
over at these random companies can skew these metrics a lot.
Right.
Whereas Rotten Tomatoes, you're getting thousands of people that are submitting these reviews.
Right.
So.
And if you get one curmudgeon giving it a 0 out of 10 because he just doesn't like Marvel, it's not going to affect it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Cinemascore A-. That's very good. As a reminder for everybody, what that is at certain theaters, this company will ask people outside the theater, like, hey, rate this, A+, B+, C-, whatever. And, this is people rate on their way out of the movie. So this is how they're feeling right at that moment.
Right.
Sometimes people, once they've sat on a movie for a couple days, start to reevaluate things.
Yeah.
But this is how you were feeling right in the moment.
Right.
And a lot of times, people are feeling pretty good. Or maybe they're like, hey, man,
that sucked.
I'm very upset
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that is. On Threads, extremely positive. People are calling it basically the second coming of Marvel.
Nice.
Yeah.
For them to do this, like, well, I mean, obviously it's we're very early in the process, but that's not giving the crown back yet. But to have them get a movie like this buzzing like this and getting reviews like this with, let's be honest, C-list characters, like,
Yep.
it's really impressive.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that hinges on, for one, Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm. She's the heart and soul.
Yeah, and I think all the marketing that she did for this really helped it too.
Yeah.
So before we get into the cast, though, I'm getting ahead of myself. On the direction side, we've got Jake Schreier.
Right. I looked him up.
You know him?
Not much about him. I looked him up, and I didn't really see much. I saw a few Kanye West music videos, a couple episodes of TV, and then he did some movie.
He wishes those weren't in his filmography.
In 2012, I saw he did a movie called Robot and Frank, but I didn't really see much else for movies outside of that.
No, and I saw that one too, and he did Paper Towns. I'd never seen that as an indie thing, but he did do some directing in the TV show Beef, which was for Netflix. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that, no.
It's very good. Very good show. Recommend it. Check it out. It's singular, one season story. They're talking about doing a second season, but it'd be a whole new cast of characters.
Okay.
So I think it's like 6 to 8 episodes.
It's reasonable.
Wraps right up there. Yeah. It's actually really good. It's Steven Yeun, and him and I don't remember the other actress's name. The actress from Always Be My
Always Be My Maybe?
Yes. The woman that was in that.
Yep, my brain's gone blank on it. I named the movie and just lost it.
Yeah, so she has a beef with Steven Yeun from like a traffic incident, and their entire life like unravels as they like fight each other. And it's it's kind of like you ever see that movie with Ben Affleck and Samuel L. Jackson, Changing Lanes?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, except better.
Nice.
On the writing side, we got Eric Pearson, who did Thor Ragnarok, Black Widow, Agent Carter, all of the Marvel one-shots, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Transformers 1. So, a lot of good stuff in there.
He understood the assignment for sure.
Yeah. I think the only thing in there that, some people might not like is Black Widow. and he definitely lined this up to kind of function as a Black Widow too. The other person that wrote with him is JoAnna Calo, I'm not positive, but she was a writer on The Bear, BoJack Horseman, Hacks, and also Beef.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Another person that wasn't mentioned in the writers that didn't get the credit but did do some rewrites is Lee Sung-jin, who was brought on for script revisions after Schreier thought the original script focused too much on Black Widow characters and story.
Right.
And this guy was, I believe, the showrunner for Beef.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were brought in from that show.
Right.
And almost Steven Yeun was almost brought in as well.
Right.
So this guy only ended up receiving an additional literary material credits.
Right, yeah. And as you said, they brought him on because the director was worried it was too Black Widow focused. So I'm sure he came in and added, like, you know, a little story here for U.S. Agent, a little story here for a couple other characters, make them like more fleshed out.
Yeah, and I had heard that in the original version of this script, they spend much more time in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bulk of the movie was spent there.
Heard that too.
Which, I mean, would be interesting. And I heard it focused a lot more on Taskmaster, and like that character had a lot more, and Ghost had a lot more.
Right. They apparently had like a little sister, big sister kind of relationship. I saw someone wrote, and then that was going to be the crux of it. It was like there was going to be more for those two to do and try kind of have a friendship, like sisterhood kind of thing. But Marvel ended up not going that route with it.
Indeed, they didn't. So on the cast side, we've got Florence Pugh. So
right.
She's Yelena Belova or White Widow.
White
just
Widow.
Like you said, she owns this movie.
She does.
It's 100% hers. The best performances are from her. The best, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
We said this before. They'd be remiss not to make her a big part of the MCU, and they seem to be leaning right into that.
They know what they have with her. Yeah, ever since I saw her, I think the first movie I ever saw her in was Fighting With My Family, which was like a WWE kind of pseudo biopic about a wrestler from England, and then like The Rock's in there, and he's like kind of helps her out, and then that was kind of like a breakthrough role. I know she was in stuff before that, but that was like the big like, hey, here this actress is, and then she's been in a whole bunch of stuff since then. Midsommar, obviously, the first Black Widow movie. This could be considered a Black Widow sequel, kind of, I guess, to an extent. But yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and she was also in Hawkeye, the show.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in Hawkeye. She was really good in that. Her and Haley Steinfeld had really good chemistry.
Yeah, they really were. That was really good.
Yeah.
You saw that she did that stunt herself?
I did, yeah. Jumped off of the Merdek 118 building in Malaysia. I guess it's the second tallest building in the world. She did the free jump off of it by herself because she wanted to.
Yeah, she said she was bugging
Kevin
Feige and like everybody for literally months. And she's like, listen, guys, this will do wonders for the press tour if you let me do this.
I mean, good.
And it did.
It did, yeah. It's a great story. Like I want to be able to do that. Obviously, I don't like heights to start with, and no, thank you. Yeah.
So, I actually missed that stunt.
You did?
In the movie. Yeah, I was a couple minutes late to the showing, and I thought it was fine because of trailers and whatnot, but I was going to a theater I don't usually go to, and they didn't have, the AMC style 30 minutes of trailers rolling in. They must have only had 5-10 minutes of trailers. So I literally walked in right as she was like blowing up the thing and her scene's ending. So I was like, oh, well, there that is.
You didn't miss much. You missed a fun little scene with her talking to like some office security guard, and she messes with a gerbil a bit. Hamster, gerbil, don't know the difference, don't really care enough to know the difference. And it's just a fun little scene where it's kind of establishing that she's melancholy, searching for reasoning, which is a lot of the movie after that.
Yeah, they kind of allude to it in a scene that they had probably talked about that in that scene. So I kind of picked up like, oh yeah, this seems to be a breadcrumbs that they're laying, and they probably laid some in the opening scene. So
they did.
I was kind of picking up most of that, so I didn't feel like I was lost by missing a couple minutes at the beginning.
Nah, you're all right. Cool stunt though.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I saw the promotion for it, so I saw her do it like with the line on her. So that's worth something. So next up, we got Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. He's been doing this for a long time now, and he gets to do a pretty good amount of stuff in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it was necessary for them to include. We said this during Captain Marvel or Captain America: Brave New World that like
he didn't need that movie.
So he's not going to be a politician for what 10 minutes in this upcoming movie, and we were exactly
correct.
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did they even lay those breadcrumbs in that movie to this one when like you're gonna abandon it so quickly? Like,
it's like, oh, he's a senator. Wait, nope, he's not. Yeah, and like, you kind of need him for this movie though to give gravitas to the new Avengers team. They roll out the end here because if they had that team without him, it's side characters really. And he started off as a side character, but Sebastian Stan's become like just like one of the MVPs of the MCU as you go along. Like he's the big thread that's still going through everything.
Yeah, and he's like the action star of this team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of like the Steve Rogers of this one. You know, he's playing it straight, not doing a lot of joking around. You know, doing a lot of hand-to-hand fighting. He's got the serum in him. You know, so he's kind of filling that role in like sort of a rough and tumble way. You know, he doesn't have the same. He's not doing all of the inspirational things that Captain America would be doing, but he kind of fills that role in this way.
Like there's a couple scenes where like if Captain America was there, he'd be like talking to someone like, "Hey, we can do this, we got this," and he's just like, "What? You got a better plan?" he's kind of just like a dead plan, just like we're doing this, let's go, kind of guy, which works.
Yeah, that's what you need out of him here, and it's funny too. Like during that one part of it where he's like blowing up all the vehicles and everything, you're like, yeah, this is Winter Soldier.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
and that scene's completely in the trailers too, so you're not only spoiling with that, but yeah, and he's great. He's great and everything, and like I said, it's just so weird. Like I saw that this movie's like the first one where they Marvel switched kind of like the heads who work on these things, and like the guy who came back on, I think is it like Bob Iger? Is that right?
Bob Iger is the CEO of Disney.
Okay, but he was like gone and he came back or something.
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw like his involvement in these movies has started back up again. This is like the first one he like had his hands in. So I mean,
okay,
you can kind of see
it. So there was Bob Iger was the CEO during the best part of the MCU. Bob Chapek came in as the CEO of Disney, and he was like more.
Yep.
And then they got rid of him and started to rein things back.
Yep.
And Kevin Feige basically said during all of this that, it was in the news for the last few days here, that he said that it was starting to feel like homework keeping up with the MCU. And I really think a big part of that is the shows, right? Because you can't require people watch the shows. Like there needs to be some sort of separation there of like, hey, like, so for example, you don't need to watch Hawkeye to get White Widow's story in this, So that's good. That's how they should do it is where, you don't need to do that. And there was a lot of that going on,
Yeah. I mean, and like the you're right, that other guy, the other Bob was very much content. Let's just get it out there in front of people. And part of that was the Disney Plus, like they wanted stuff on there to justify people buying it. But it does hurt the overall product when you have, Moon Knight, Winter Soldier, and Captain America, and like all these shows, and like it's hard to sell people on doing that in order to understand what's going on in the next movie. So, as you said, there was too much reliance on that. Hopefully, they'll keep going with the shows, but there'll be some other way to tie them in. I don't know how you do it, but I mean,
well, and that's the thing too is it's a lot of plates to spin at one time.
Right.
If you're designing a 12-episode show that depends on things in the other movies, but you're not involved in those movies, you're going to have things that feel disconnected.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is like when you saw WandaVision and then you watch
Doctor Strange
in the Multiverse of Madness, they don't really connect the way they should.
She's sitting there with the dog curled and all of a sudden she's evil.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing. It's like you've got to have these people talking to each other. You've got to have them, working together. And part of that it could be like, hey, maybe have the same people work on these things, and do them back to back, or shoot it all together. Like figure out something, and that seems to be what they're doing, is retooling everything and taking a more traditional approach with it than the one they've taken. So this movie, I mean, not to get, you know what, I'll save any more for our reviews.
Okay.
We got a couple more people to talk about here. So
Yep, we do.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus
Yep.
as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Definitely.
Yep. She's good. She's really good in this. I liked her.
Yeah, and she's got that snooty kind of uppity, just performance. She could do that just in her sleep. I feel like, and she's great at it.
Yeah.
She's been.
Yeah, I was
good.
afraid they were going to sort of waste her, you know, and they didn't.
No.
She does really well. Her interactions with Sentry, all that stuff it's really good, and they, you know, line her up to be somewhat sticking around. Maybe, I don't know.
They've made her into the Marvel's Amanda Waller, really. Amanda Waller
Right.
from the like. There's a lot of correlation between this and the Suicide Squad, and
That's a really good point. I hadn't picked up on that,
yeah.
but yeah.
And then, like, in the DC universe, Amanda Waller's leader of the Suicide Squad, but she's also kind of the covert, like, knife in the back kind of government agent that will do whatever it takes to get the job done, which is what she's filling here for Marvel.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Huh. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's really good. Great point. Next up, we got Louis Pullman as Bob, or Sentry, or the Void.
Yep.
This is who Stephen Yeun was originally cast as, but once the strikes happened and everything got postponed, he ended up not being available anymore. So he had to drop out for scheduling.
Yep. He says he still wants to do a Marvel movie at some point, which is exciting because I like Stephen Yeun, and I would like to see him in this universe. But that's not going to take anything away. Louis Pullman does a great job in this episode. This movie.
Yeah, he does. And Sentry's story, they do it really in such an interesting way in this that it's not at all what I expected it to be. I was kind of worried about how they were going to do it.
Right.
Because I was just thinking, like, well, they can't really do this like the comic, right?
No, they really can't. But they did, because, like, in the comic, Sentry happens, and then, like, he's like a 50s hero, and then he makes everyone forget about him for 60 years, and he shows back up. It's a thing they can't do. You can't do that in the modern MCU. Like, it's just not going to work, you know?
Right. And the other thing with it is that he doesn't know he's the Void.
Yes.
So it's told in a very interesting way where it's like, you know, kind of like trippy, kind of like Fight Club style of not realizing these things are happening. And on one hand, you think to yourself, like, that's such a cool story. You can tell that story if it's standalone, right?
Right.
But I don't think you can tell that here. I hope they try and tell a version of that somewhere along the line where you don't know that that's where they're going with it, because that's the thing about it, is it could be a really cool twist.
Right.
But it's not going to be, because everybody already knows, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Going into this, everybody was literally saying, like, oh yeah, he's Sentry and the Void.
Yeah.
So it was like, and they were going to do that either way. So it wasn't going to be a twist that they could roll with like that. So knowing that they couldn't do that in this shared universe, spoilers everywhere fashion, I think they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And the way they lean into it, I think is really cool, and leaning into the idea that it's like an unstoppable character, so they have to kind of talk him down instead of just beating him, you know.
They're not going to beat Sentry in a fight or the Void in a fight. Like, not most characters in the Marvel, not just the MCU, Marvel, have a chance against the Sentry. He's one of the many Superman attempts that Marvel's made, but after just becoming kind of a clone, you know, right down to the S on the suit, they did flesh him out a little bit more, to, like, the whole, like, thing where he was a junkie, he was, you know, not a great person, and he got all his power, and then that makes the character more interesting than just being a Superman clone. It's just, like, that is such a powerhouse now that they've unleashed in the world, and it's just going to be interesting to see what they do with it now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of characters kind of like that I'm wondering if they're going to roll back into this. You know, like, who's the one from Guardians 3? You know, I wonder if he pops back around again, too.
The Stallone one?
No, the dude with gold skin.
Oh, Adam Warlock. Yeah, that's another super powerful guy that they just have out there.
He's just out there doing who knows what.
I mean, they want to bring in the X-Men and the Shi'ar. Then you get Gladiator. That's another Superman flying around. They could do.
Yep.
They could do all kinds of stuff. Hercules, Hyperion. I mean, that'd be weird, but they're doing cross-dimensional crap already, so might as well bring Hyperion in.
Yeah.
These are all like the super powerful Marvel characters that haven't shown up yet, other than Beta Ray Bill. But someday.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for them to bring him, and
It's gonna be great.
Hope they tell that story.
I hope so too. I feel like it's gonna be a fun little surprise when they do it.
Yeah.
But going back to Louis Pullman, sorry, I just want to say one more thing. His dad, obviously, Bill Pullman, who famously was the best on-screen movie president in Independence Day.
Yep. And as we put it the other episode there, he's been a little bit typecast as a Bob after appearing as Bob in
Top Gun
Maverick.
Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a Bob, might as well be as popular Bob.
Yep. He tried to talk them into changing his name too.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was Bob in the other movie?
Exactly.
That's funny.
And they were like, no, we can't.
Sorry, this is the character.
Yeah. All right, so next up we got David Harbour as Alexei Shostakov, or Red Guardian.
And I was worried I was going to dislike him in this movie. The trailers, he kept laughing all the time and being like a big goofball. I'm like, this is going to rub me the wrong way. But in the movie itself, he's not like that. It's like just that one scene in the gas station that annoys me a little bit. But that was also in the trailer. But the rest of the time, he's fun. He's a good time. He's kind of the dad of the group, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's great in most things he's in. And I was worried. I was worried, my friend, he was going to annoy me this movie, but he didn't. So
yeah, they have him mostly toned down. He is the comedic relief,
just like Black Widow.
He still does that. They give him one scene there where he's being emotional and everything, so that was nice to give him that. I do hope they give him a little bit more to do in the long run.
Yeah.
A little bit more of an emotional arc, and he's just not, the nonstop Drax of this crew.
Yes.
Because we know David Harbour can do it. We know he's got a hell of a range on him. So yeah, I hope they do more with him.
Yeah. I was hoping he'd get a shield. He didn't get a shield.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get something.
And then Bucky didn't get his not Bucky. Sorry. Go ahead. I just realized we haven't talked about him yet.
Yeah, well, he's next. So Wyatt Russell is John Walker / U.S. agent, another son of a popular actor. He is the son of Kurt Russell, who, as many know, I am a big fan of.
Huge fan.
Yep, Dan's a big fan too. Pretty much all of our friends are big fans of him somehow.
Mainly the mustache. just the mustache. So you can't get past that. It's great.
Dude knows how to grow some facial hair. He does. That's a fact.
Unlike me.
But John Walker, he's good in this.
Right.
What do you think of him?
I think when I read that story about the rewrites and everything, my brain immediately went to he was the one that they rewrote. He's the one that added like the scene with him with his son where he's ignoring his son because he's on his phone because he's deep in that whole spiral of he ruined his chance to be Captain America. And I thought he was really good. Like I thought he surprised me with like giving me to give a crap about U.S. agent,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he doesn't necessarily get an arc. It's his arc is kind of starts as an asshole, ends at like a asshole. Yeah.
Which is the character, really.
Right, and kind of like he does overcome the just trying to beat people up thing when he does the group hug thing at the end. So that's good. And if I remember correctly, is he the first one to jump into the void? I think he is, right?
Yelena does, but
to chase after her though.
I don't know
of the rest of the group.
Did they show that? I don't remember. I remember them all walking towards it, but I don't remember who went in first.
I guess I was basing that off the fact that he arrives first.
He does arrive first, but yeah, I don't know, man.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
Is that he's sort of the first one to jump in and. That's kind of his thing. It's like he's a soldier, right? He's treating everything like a soldier would, and that's kind of his whole thing.
A man of action, a man of get it done now, kind of.
Right, not a man of feelings and things like that. So, they lay enough groundwork that they're like, hey, he gets a little bit of an arc in this,
Little redemption.
little bit,
You
little
want to
baby
you want to
tiny
care a
bit,
little bit. Yeah.
yeah. But in the long run, they laid the groundwork for like a potentially really good arc for
Yeah.
him. Starting off as this like he's clearly not happy, and there's that moment when Bucky mentions his wife
Hmm.
and kid, and he kind of gives that sad look
Yeah.
over to Yelena, and she just kind of gives him a nod of like, yeah, I get it. You're in a tough spot too, and and that's when you're kind of learning that like things have not gone well for him.
No.
Despite at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, him kind of joining forces with them
Yeah.
randomly, things just ain't they've not been going well since then.
Yeah. They haven't. And correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, the whatever, De Fontaine is there, and she straight drops the name. She's like, they don't need a Captain America. They need a U.S. agent. And I don't think they call him U.S. agent in this whole movie.
No, I don't think they did.
They just call him Walker all the time.
Yeah.
I hope that that doesn't just go by the wayside and like we don't get U.S. agent popping up more.
Yeah, I have to imagine that they will. I mean, do they call Yelena White Widow at all in
They don't
this?
actually. You're right.
I think the only person that they do use that name of, I mean, they do for Bob. They call him Sentry and Void.
Red Guardian only calls himself Red Guardian.
And Ghost. I mean, they use Ghost. I think they used Taskmaster instead of anything else. So I think those are the only ones: Taskmaster, Ghost, and he uses Red Guardian. But everybody else, yeah,
You're right. Yeah, actually, yeah. I noticed it with him, but with U.S. agent for some reason. But you're right. They none of them really use their code names. They just use their normal names. You're right.
yeah. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with his character. It seems like he'll be around plenty going into these Avengers movies and whatnot. So I saw a couple moments of him where I saw the Kurt Russell coming out of him too.
Oh,
I was like, oh, there it is.
did you see a couple times with Louis Pullman? Not to stick on the point, but a couple times like I saw his face. I'm like, holy crap, that's his dad.
Yeah, it's crazy that just seeing that happen.
Good genes.
But yeah, so next up on the list we got Hannah John Kamen as Ava Starr or Ghost.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, I love her as an actress, and they don't give her jack shit to do in this
Nope.
movie.
That is literally what it
does do
yeah.
well in all of her scenes. Like she does well with her fighting. She does well in the way she acts and everything. She does well for everything they give her to do, but they don't give her anything to do.
They do not. I actually have that written down here. I have it written down that Ghost was the victim. Because like all these movies, there's going to be someone who doesn't get quite as much screen time. And I thought she was the victim of the screen crunch.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, that reminds me. I had heard that they were going to include Lawrence Fishburne's character in here too. And he was going to have cancer, and there was a whole big arc for her.
Oh, okay. Took me a second to remember who he was.
Yeah, he was
Bill Foster.
Yeah.
Who becomes
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Who becomes Goliath, but who knows if they're ever going to touch that.
No, because they did in that movie. They said he used to be.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Remember him? And
yep, they did. They did that whole size measuring thing. That was funny.
Yeah,
dick jokes.
I really like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, the first two. The third one's garbage. Sorry.
So Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see them give her something to do.
Yes.
She drew the short straw on this one, like that somebody always does. Not the shortest straw.
Nope.
But
it was a short straw still.
But it was still the short straw.
The other one needed to get a straw.
Yeah.
They passed out the straws. She's like,
yeah. So let's get to that.
Just touch on
next
it.
on my list.
Yeah.
Olga Kurylenko as Antonia Dreykov or Taskmaster. We predicted, as most people did, that she was not going to be in very much of this movie because she was not in very much of the trailer. She was only in the vault in the trailer. And lo and behold, she got even less screen time than I thought she would.
Yeah, she got one line, a decent little fight scene, and then plow.
Boom.
Yeah.
Bullet to the head.
And they made sure that we know she's dead too, because they actually show, which they don't always show in Marvel movies, but they showed like blood coming out of her head. It's like, okay, she's definitely been shot and is dead.
Yeah. And a lot of things to kind of consider with that. One, I think it's very good writing that they chose Ghost to go up against her,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only character in this crew that she can't duplicate their power.
Yeah.
Because she phases.
Mm-hmm.
You can't duplicate phasing.
No.
So the fact that she can just disappear and pop up, that's very difficult to fight.
Yeah, and as we said, there was apparently more for her to do, but they decided not to pursue that, and then they just decided, probably as a company, that the Taskmaster idea that popped up in Black Widow, it just isn't working. Fans don't like it. They're saying it's the worst characterization of a character since Deadpool in the Wolverine Origins movie, because it's just not the character, And
Yeah.
I think once they decided they weren't going to pursue the whole little sister, big sister thing between her and Ghost, they're like, let's just get this character off the books, Which sucks for Olga, because I like her as an actress, but
I like her as an actress too.
I think that's
She's had bad luck.
Yeah, I think that's what they did. They're just like, this character's not working. Fans don't like it. Let's put it in here. Get her out of here. We'll relaunch the character at some point.
Yeah. Man, such bad luck for her though.
It really is.
She ends up in the MCU, and then I don't even know how much of Black Widow she's actually in.
You see her face at the very end. It's kind of weirdly CGI'd into that helmet too, I think, if I remember correctly.
It's weirdly CGI'd into this one too.
Yeah.
When they it's the makeup mixed with the weird CGI, and the mask slides out, and then she looks at the camera and she's like,
never hear
and then
you.
it closes again. And then 20 seconds later, maybe even,
Pop.
she's got a bullet in her head,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh well,
Yes.
that was. Dead. She's gone.
Yep.
Okay.
The effects department just had the one little model of her. They're like, good enough.
And you saw, I kept sending things over to you of look, they're not even including her in the promotion. They're not even pretending.
No. It
showed the whole cast at the premiere, and then it showed her arriving there by herself because she didn't bond with anybody. So she was they really did her so dirty, and they could have. Come on, guys, at least film some shots. She was there. At least film some shots for the trailer so that people are catching on to these things.
Yeah.
Marvel's notorious for shooting things just for the trailers. Do that for this so that people at least think,
Even this one, they did the whole, we can't call ourselves that thing between Bucky and Red Guardian, and that's not in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, actually. Yeah, that's not in there.
Yeah.
We can't call ourselves that.
Another thing I saw, that they're going to have a funny little thing where Taskmaster kept, because of the White Room and the memory loss and everything that she experienced, she was going to continuously attack U.S. Agent or John Walker because she'd forget that they're on the same side. She'd just be there and all of a sudden she would just attack him, which could have really been fun, but also I understand why they're like, let's just cut this here.
Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to reintroduce Taskmaster.
I would think so. He's a big character, and you can. I said he because in the comics he's a he. He has a daughter who has the same powers as her, but you don't have to worry about that, I don't think. But he's a cool.
I gotta worry about that.
I gotta worry about that for a while. But he's a cool character. He sees someone fight and he can immediately mimic what they do. He sees Captain America fight, he can be Captain America. He sees Iron Fist fight, he can be Iron Fist, except for the punch
so
thing.
fun in the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, he is.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah, he needs to be a loudmouth. He needs to be a showboat. He needs to be a kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Or she.
Or she. Yeah. Okay. That's enough Taskmaster. But we
spent more time on that than the movie did.
Taskmaster, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
Next up on my list, I've got Geraldine Viswanathan as Mel.
Thank you for saying that name.
Yep. I'm looking out for you, Dan.
Yeah. I struggle with the names.
So she was really good in this part. She's a wonderful little actress there, actually. I really like her in all the stuff I've seen.
The only thing I've ever seen her in was Blockers, that comedy movie from way back when with John Cena and Leslie Mann. And
John Cena.
Yes. And she's really good in that. She's a lot of fun, and she was really good in this movie. And did you catch the tie-ins there? What they kind of laid the breadcrumbs for if they wanted to pursue it?
No.
So her name is Mel, which...
Short for Mel Gibson.
Short for Mel Gibson, so she's going to do the Passion of the Christ. No. Yeah. No, so... in the Thunderbolts, there's a whole different team. None of these characters that are in this movie have really been Thunderbolts, but Songbird. Yes, you're right. But Songbird has, and Songbird is one of the big Thunderbolts, and her name in the comic is Melissa Gold.
Oh.
And and there's a scene where like you can see a pendant on her neck and it has a bird on it. So I'm wondering if they're laying the groundwork for her to show up some point as Songbird.
That's fun. Look at you. See, that's why you're here.
Yeah. I saw it in my brain immediately. Went, that's her. I think she might have a different name in the movie, but
somebody sees you just start scribbling down notes in the theater.
But yeah, so that might be a fun little Easter egg they put in there just so that they can do Songbird later, or just like for the diehards like me to be like, I know that.
Look! Yeah, that's really cool. Nice catch, Dan.
Thanks, buddy.
Side note, Ayo Edebiri was originally cast in that part.
Really?
She is... Have you seen The Bear?
I have not seen The Bear. It keeps coming up.
She's in The Bear.
I gotta watch The Bear.
She's really good in it, too. I think she's like one of the producers and writers of the show.
Is The Bear like that good? I feel like it's everywhere.
The Bear is that good.
Okay.
I don't know if you like it.
Hey.
But it is good.
I like things.
It's like... No, well, like, I don't mean that like that.
I know you don't mean that like that. You don't like anything.
It's sort of like it's written sort of like anxiety inducing.
Sure.
You know? Kind of like what's that Adam Sandler movie?
Happy People?
Gems.
Oh, Uncut Gems. Yeah.
You know how that's kind of like told in a way where the story unfolds in a very anxiety-inducing way. This is like that, but it's a show, so it's for hours and hours and hours on end.
That seems interesting.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's
a hard sell.
It's a very well-written show. It's
right.
One of those that like sometimes I mean I binged it, but I wouldn't recommend that for most people. Like most people can only they treat it Black Mirror style where they watch one episode a week. You know, and then come back to it.
Right.
Especially if you've ever worked in a restaurant.
I
can
did.
Really give you some flashbacks of what it's like to work in a restaurant. Yeah, I've worked at like 4 restaurants, and it really...
Usually
there
hell.
were certain aspects of it that I was just like, oh my God.
That garbage.
Yeah, it does a point of giving so many actors things to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whole episodes dedicated to just one character type thing.
All right.
And you learn a ton about them. The guy that's playing Thing in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, he's in it, and he's absolutely wonderful.
I've heard that.
It's the most he's ever been given to do with a part, and I guarantee 100% it's what got him in the Fantastic Four. He's great in it. There's so many good people. I mean, it's an award-winning show for a reason. I'd recommend it.
Okay.
And the final person I have here, now that I've gone on a soapbox of The Bear, is Wendell Pierce as Congressman Gary. You know Wendell Pierce?
I do not, but he looked very familiar, so I'm ready for the dots connect.
Yeah, so he's done a ton of stuff. So he's in the Jack Ryan Show with John Krasinski. He's great in that. He plays the like James Earl Jones part from the old movies, which I believe might have been Morgan Freeman's part in some of All Fears,
yeah.
And, you know, so on and so forth. He's also from The Wire.
Okay.
Very good in The Wire. Have you seen The Wire?
I have seen The Wire. I need to rewatch it. It's been too long. I watched it when it first came out, and I need to go back to it.
He is the alcoholic dude.
That checks. Yep. Okay, that makes total sense now.
Yeah. So he's been, I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff on top of that too, but those are like the 2 that come to mind. I didn't even write this stuff down. But yeah, he's great. So keep him around, you know. Give him some things to do because he's great to watch just doing whatever he's doing and, you know, playing a congressman that's 100% in his wheelhouse.
Right.
So.
And we didn't really get, like, there was no resolution to his story in this. Like, he's
just the guy that's trying to, you know, stick it to Fontaine.
Yep. And he doesn't really get the chance to because at the end she does that big reveal and movie over.
Yep. Big reveal that I'm like, you guys could still throw her in jail.
You still throw her in jail. She still did illegal stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like, I know technically...
Human experimentation.
Anybody... Right.
The people definitely died. People died.
This whole, like, this whole thing that just happened, 100% her fault.
Yeah.
Like, she tried to kill all of you, like,
Put her in jail.
Why are you not putting her in jail?
Why are you making her your ally?
She called you the new Avengers? That's it?
She's going to give you the tower, I guess, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, so like that thing I was just like
Probably put her in jail still. Yeah.
I don't know if this tracks, but okay. So yeah, tell me, what do you think of the movie?
So yeah, I enjoyed it. I went into it with very low expectations, even lower than like I think I told you before. Like I was worried about this movie very much. I was more worried about this than I was Captain America: Brave New World. I'm never gonna remember that name. Never gonna remember that name. But
Yeah, me neither.
I was more worried about this movie than I was Captain America: Brave New World, and I like this movie so much more than Captain America: Brave New World. It's just it felt. I don't want to be cliche. It says it feels like the old MCU, but it kind of did. Like there's humor. It wasn't over the top. There's characters. They had their moments. They had their beats. Like it wasn't just like straight jokey whole time, you know.
Yeah.
And it deals with like depression in a good way, and it really kind of like shows that like anyone can go through it. Like the most powerful character in this movie is like mentally not unstable, but mentally compromised. We'll go with, and like it's just the way they depict that is really good. It was really nice to see. As we've talked about, all the characters, all the actors played great parts and did very well in their roles. And yeah, I was very impressed with it. I left happy. I left smiling.
Yeah. I agree with your assessment there. I noticed too that the way they told this story, it really reminded me of the first two Avengers movies.
Yep.
You know, and I know people take their issues with Age of Ultron, and it's got issues,
I like it.
but I think it's aged very well. You
Age of
know,
Ultron.
I think a lot of people's complaint at the time was like, this is setting too much up and it's opening too many doors and not closing enough, right?
Yeah.
And on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, now that we've seen where all those things go, and you know, it's very fun to go back and watch,
Yeah.
you know, but the whole thing with the mechanism of him touching them and their mind going back to their like worst memory and then them having to go through their worst memories, that really reminded me a lot of what Scarlet Witch did to the team in Age of Ultron.
Yes, that's right.
I thought that was a really interesting parallel there, and the fact that everything finishes right in the middle of New York City, almost exactly where the battle takes place.
Pretty much, yeah.
In the first Avengers.
Right, Avengers Tower, right there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting that that's kind of where that team was born, and this is kind of where this team is born in the same place,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Especially for the public.
And that's definitely done on purpose. They wanted to, Marvel did, I'm sure, wanted to get that tower back in here some way. Now they're calling it the Watchtower, I think, which is like the Centuries thing from the comics, which cool. But they wanted to pull it back, and they did. And you're absolutely right. Like I didn't really think about it, but you're right. It does have the feelings of those first two Avengers movies, the team building and the resolution of a conflict that they really shouldn't have been able to beat, kind of.
They start off the beginning of the movie fighting each other, just like in the Avengers.
Yep, they do.
Yeah. So I think they were probably thinking, like, all right, let's go back to the basics a little bit on this one. Just show everybody a good time. We don't need to reinvent the wheel too many ways. It's really cool, the story they were telling with, like, you know, with the depression pieces of it. That reminded me a lot of, like, Inside Out and, you know, Disney movies like that.
Yeah.
Disney or Pixar or whoever. It's all Disney. But it reminded me a lot of, like, what a few of those movies have done.
Right.
Where it's playing with the idea of mental health. And, you know, that was really interesting in that final scene where, like, he's, like, beating him up. And Bucky's like, this isn't right.
Yep.
This isn't right.
It's what he wants.
Know? And, yeah. And the fact that he was saying that to Yelena and, like, hey, you know, I think you're the only one that can stop this, you know. And they kind of flipped things on their head. Of up until this point, it was very much. I mean, the more I think about it, it really is an Avengers movie.
It completely
right?
is, yeah.
So the fact that they didn't present it as that, but then after the fact, they're like, "Hey,
It
it's
was
the new Avengers."
Yeah. Nice little rug pull.
Yeah, but they finish it in that way of like, yeah, but you know, it's fighting isn't always the way to resolve.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to work things out.
Yeah,
You know? So
you need support.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really think that, you know, the way they told that story was really effective.
I agree. And actually, going back to your point, U.S. Agent was the second one on the hug there, so they definitely were trying hard to get him his redemption.
Right, and it's not too in your face.
Nope.
With those things. They're kind of like you said, they're hinting at it, and all of these people are like straight up murderers.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Like Ghost, she was literally the villain.
Literally,
One of the villains.
literally murdered a person in this movie.
Yeah. First person murdered was her.
Yep.
Yeah. Yelena murdered a ton of people.
Yep.
U.S. agent murdered a dude on the news.
Yep.
Like,
And he didn't even show remorse in this movie either. At first, maybe that would be something down the road. But they're like, "You killed an innocent man." He's like, "Innocent."
yeah. He's like, "Was he though?" Like, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, killing so many people.
He's got so much red in his ledger. And so Holly hadn't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, and she's like, "I don't want to spend the whole time watching it." I sent her like 3 clips from it. I'm like, "You're good."
Yeah.
I sent her the clip of Isaiah talking to Sam and Bucky. I sent her the clip of John taking the super soldier serum, and I sent her the clip of him losing his crap after his sidekick dies and then going to murdering that guy. I'm like, there you go. There's the whole series.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't rewatched that since.
It's not bad, but also I have no desire to watch it again.
Yeah. Like, if they cut that down to like a hour and a half version, like that's a perfect example. Like that didn't need to be a show.
Didn't need to be a show.
Like
that should have been a movie. Eternal should have been a show.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That would have been a really cool show too, where they're telling so many of these stories in the past.
Each character gets a whole episode to shine and do something.
Yeah.
Seems obvious in hindsight.
Good stuff. But yeah, I liked this movie. Sarah really liked it. She loved it. She almost didn't go. Because she's been so not impressed with Marvel.
That's fair.
For such a long time that like
she's allowed to think that way.
Kind of like she's like I'm not going to keep up with all this stuff. So I haven't even bothered with showing her like a number of things. She hasn't seen Brave New World. She hasn't seen at least a couple of the shows.
Right. And Holly's the same way too. Like she likes it, but she's like, I don't need to watch this religiously, and that's fair. Like that's the fatigue we were talking about.
Yeah, she hated Secret Invasion.
I think she should.
That was the breaking point for her, actually.
That's fair.
After we finished that show, the finale credits showed up, and she was like, that show is stupid.
She's right.
I don't think I'm going to watch Marvel stuff anymore. I was like, none? And she's like, none.
Wow.
And, she, obviously, I think this is probably the first thing she's watched since that.
Hey, and then she's allowed, man. That show was a hot mess of garbage.
And they dragged it out. Like, if that was a movie, she might not have been mad, but she devoted like 8 hours to that.
Right. If that was an hour and a half crap movie, you'd be like, all right, whatever. But as you said, 8 hours of nothing.
Right. Week after week of being disappointed until the finale,
right.
And then it ends, and you're just like,
why did I force myself to sit here and watch this?
Yeah. She almost gave up on Marvel stuff after Logan. She's like, I don't know if I want to watch anything because I don't. She's like, I think this is as good as it's ever going to get. And I was like, it is as good as it's ever going to get.
It is probably,
like, I don't want to break it to you, but like, there's not really been anything better than this since then. Like,
I mean, Endgame and...
If you were going to quit, that's a good place to quit.
That would be a great place to quit, yeah. I couldn't argue with that either. Logan's special, but it's also kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they need more stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you have anything else? I had a couple little things that I picked up. The director said that I thought were kind of funny.
I have 0 other things to talk about with this movie. So yeah,
I wanted to add this on here. Apparently, the director initially wanted to have Man-Thing in this.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah.
Yeah, which that makes me sad. I would love to have seen it, but I mean that's a lot of money for CGI to have Man-Thing running around.
That is a lot of money, especially when marketing it in this new sort of innovative way.
Right, and he would have no tie to any of the other characters in the movie. They'd all be like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah,
and he'd just be there birding people.
Way to communicate.
Yeah, no way to communicate either. Like it could have been cool, but I think they probably made the right choice not doing that.
Yeah, I had read that another thing he had said is like he had not seen Werewolf by Night, so he didn't know the character had already been introduced.
Really? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could have been fun. I'm kind of bummed it didn't happen, but I kind of understand why it didn't happen.
Yeah, he said after the fact, too, that he was like, in retrospect, it probably works better without that character anyways.
But
and I think he's right.
It's cool that he likes him. I mean, that gives me a little bit of a happiness that he was even considered for the role,
Yeah, give us a Werewolf by Night, too.
Oh, please do. Let's give us a Midnight Suns.
Werewolf by Night with Man-Thing again.
Yeah, give us a Midnight Suns movie, for the love of God.
Yeah, follow up on some of that.
Yeah.
Give us a Halloween special this year.
Yeah. Oh, my God. How much fun would that be? Just do a Blade. Like, Blade's been struggling. put out a Halloween episode of it and just try to get it floating again. Get the interest
Yeah.
going again, get the good buzz going again. The last thing I want to add is that he originally for the post-credit scene was going to do a joke scene where, because in the movie they talk about how Yelena had a soccer team that was really bad, and never won a game, and
Yeah, the Thunderbolts.
and the Thunderbolts exactly. And in one of the games, one of the girls pooped herself at center field, and he said that he was going to have the post-credit scene be Alexei filming the soccer game, and then like when the girl goes to poop, like that's when it ends. And I thought that's hilarious. I kind of wish they would have
Yeah.
filmed that.
Yeah, that would have been that would have been a good one. Yeah. What were the scenes? So you've got the mid-credits scene was
Lexi in Tops trying to impress someone by being on a Wheaties box.
Oh,
I said
yeah,
Tops.
okay.
I don't know if it was a Tops.
Yeah, Food Line.
Food Line.
And then the final one was
The connective.
the Fantastic Four thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sarah was like, "What was that?" I was like, "That's the Fantastic Four." She's like, "Okay." I saw the four. I wasn't sure if it was like, there's other four related things. I was like, I mean, there probably are. I was like,
Yes.
the Four Horsemen. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Holly did the same thing too. I'm a smartass, and I had to bite my tongue so hard at that moment. Like, she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Fantastic Four. They're coming."
Yeah.
Like,
One of the things I saw online was somebody saying, like, I wish they hadn't shown the four. Like, we all know the ship. And it's like, the thing is,
I don't know the
we
ship.
don't all know the ship.
I don't know that ship.
Like, you know the ship, good sir.
Yeah.
But most people don't know the ship, so they kind of do have to be,
Yeah.
like, upfront about it,
Like consider myself a comic book nerd. I have no idea if that was their ship.
I didn't either. So I saw the ship coming, and I was like, oh, what's this? Like, I mean, honestly, it could be anything.
I honestly, for half a second, thought maybe they were gonna bring the Eternals back in.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be hilarious.
Dude flies out of the sun.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're back. Everyone missed us, right?
Yeah. One thing I had read about that post-credit scene while we're on it that I just thought of was that apparently the Russos directed that scene.
Yes, I had that written down here. It's the first thing they directed for Marvel since Endgame.
Yeah, so that's really cool. It's got a unique visual style to it, so I hope they kind of stick with that with it,
Yeah. It's just kind of jokes up until then. U.S. agents wear a beret for some reason. They have the Avengers tracksuits with a Z on there because Sam Wilson's suing them for copyright infringement, which is sure, okay, whatever. But
he's got to get that money, man.
Get the money.
Remember from Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yep.
Times are hard.
Times are hard. That's true.
Yeah. That is really interesting that they did a time jump. 14 months.
14 months, yeah. So the new Avengers have been out there for over a year.
Yep.
Avenging, which, I mean,
yeah.
Did the original Avengers have that long, like, functioning as a team?
I mean, I don't think they did. They would
disband, get back together, disband.
Yeah, exactly. They'd always have to get the band back together, but these guys they're just chilling.
Yeah. And it's also interesting that they established that Sam Wilson is doing his own Avengers team, which makes sense, but you worry because like it feels like if they have two Avengers.
Last time?
What?
The last time you had two teams?
Exactly, yeah.
Civil War. You split into two teams, you have disagreements, and then next thing you know, somebody attacks and you guys aren't all there.
Yep.
Because so they're making the same mistakes all over again.
They are. Who do you think is going to be on Sam's team? I have a couple of ideas.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Hawkeye was there.
I mean, it's definitely going to be him. It's going to be him and Falcon for sure. Probably.
No, I mean, young, new Hawkeye.
Oh, Kate Bishop?
Yeah.
That's true. She could be. I think
she could be. I mean, or she's Young Avengers.
Yeah. And they could do that too.
That team, or she's on this team.
Oh, you know what they're probably going to do? They're probably going to have the Fantastic Four show up, and then whoever's chasing them show up, and then whoever's chasing them is going to deck the new Avengers and the Sam Wilson Avengers, and then you'll have the Young Avengers trying to stop them.
Yeah. That's
probably what's going to happen.
Peter Quill is probably on the other Avengers.
Oh, yeah, it's true. He's in America now.
Doctor Strange.
I think he said Ant-Man already, right?
No.
Ant-Man's definitely on. He's definitely on that team. The Wasp didn't eventually Lily retire, but she might come back for money, I imagine.
I think she retired, yeah.
But money.
She might come. You're right, though. Money is a thing that people enjoy.
It's a very positive. It's a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Then who else do we have left? We have Hulk, Bruce Banner, Hulk, She-Hulk, and Hulk, weird teenage son that we met once.
Yeah, so what do we have? The Avengers team is generally what, 5 people?
Yeah,
Okay. So Falcon, Doctor Strange. They gonna do She-Hulk?
probably.
Yeah, probably. And then Peter Quill
hmm
and
Sam Wilson.
Did I didn't say Sam
You
Wilson
said
already?
Falcon. You didn't say Captain America.
Oh
There's two
yeah,
different.
my bad.
There's
That's what I'm talking
yeah.
about. I'm talking about Sam
Oh,
Wilson.
then the other Falcon will be the last guy, the new guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count him
He's gonna be there.
in my 5. He'll be there, but I'm not gonna count him in my 5.
Okay.
So I guess I'm doing 6.
Spider-Man's still around.
Spider-Man's still around,
I don't
but
think he'd be involved in these.
it's got to be. You need one more woman in the mix.
Yeah.
What female heroes are out there right now?
Not Monica Rambeau. She's in a different dimension.
Yep.
We already said She-Hulk, so she's likely on that team just for that reason. Not just for that
Captain
reason.
Marvel, but she's like out doing her own thing too, right?
She is, yeah. Shuri, Black Panther.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
All right.
We got there.
That's it. We'll see how accurate we are.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else for this movie?
No, just it was a good time. I suggest it. If you have any interest in seeing it, go catch it.
Yeah, I agree. So what do we have next in the MCU? We've got The Eyes of Wakanda is coming out in a few months. We've got Ironheart coming out in a few months. Both of those are shows, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. We got Fantastic Four First Steps a couple months away.
Yeah, I think those are the things that are coming out this year, right? Oh, yeah, and we've got Spider-Man that's coming out, this winter or something?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But isn't there, they're going to do a Punisher special at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard about that. John Bernthal says he's pretty pumped about it.
But who knows when that's going to film and who knows when that's going to be out, so.
Yeah. Spider-Man brand new date set to release July 31st, 2026.
Okay.
So we got over a year on that one.
But it's a good time frame. About a year is what we have left. So those other things seem like they'll be in it. I mean, there's the Wonder Man show.
Oh yeah, that's December.
Yeah, so
I just pulled up a schedule.
That's coming out. So
Marvel
Ironheart
Zombies is coming out now.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Completely they've taken their time on that.
They
show,
have.
They?
Yeah. We had like 3 seasons of What If before that show came out.
Yeah. And then we got Avengers Doomsday in May of next year. So that comes out a couple months before Spider-Man 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then Secret Wars is May of 2027. They haven't really slowed down that much. This year's a big year.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have anything last year.
Last few.
There you go. Well, they had last year. They had Loki season 2 and Deadpool Wolverine. Was that it?
I think it was it. Yeah.
Loki's a good show.
It's really good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the news.
Let's do it.
All right. So our weekly Sinners Roundup.
Yeah.
So Sinners took number 2 at the box office,
which is crazy.
It reached $236.7 million worldwide, tripling its budget.
I think we can say it's a hit now.
It's a hit, folks. The IMAX 70mm theaters, there's 9 of them. They launched a limited run of Sinners again for, I think it was just like a 3-day weekend thing. And it crashed the AMC website and quickly sold out all showings for what they had set it up for.
It's a big movie.
So, yeah. I was having lunch with some coworkers today, and somebody asked me about it, and I got on a little bit of a soapbox about it. And they're like, "Oh, I hadn't really heard much about this movie." And I was like,
"Get yourself to a nunnery.
Just go.
Just go see it." I did see another piece of fun news just because it popped in my head just now. Captain America: Brave New World. It passed 200 million worldwide.
Oh, nice.
Good for it. That's a decent little milestone for that movie to hit.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not the best movie, but it's not a terrible movie either. But also,
you know what its budget was?
Oh, it's probably a lot.
Yeah, I don't recall offhand. I feel like it was like 180.
Yeah. This was 180, wasn't it? Thunderbolts?
Yeah, I believe so. Is that what I said?
I think so.
Earlier in the episode? Yeah, it was 180.
Thunder. It's been nothing but rain up here for the last 2 weeks, it feels like. It stinks.
Yeah.
You go to bed, it's dark. You wake up, it's dark. You don't see the sun. It's not a way for humans to live, man.
It's so beautiful here.
I know. Okay. Get it.
Yeah, Captain America: Brave New World was 180 as well.
Okay.
So
Makes you kind of wonder where the money went for this one, though, because like you didn't have to pay the. Well, there's a lot of actors. Never mind, I take it back.
there's a lot of actors.
One more thing about the movie before we go any farther into the news. I want to point out that the Century's shadow, what they call it, shadow blast or void blast, when he like turns people into just like the shadows. That
Mhm.
was such a cool way to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I really like that effect.
Yo, when they hit that kid
That
with
little
it,
girl with it, I know.
I was just like,
Yeah,
like
Holly next to me, she goes, "Oh."
I wish they had given Red Guardian a moment to like really be truly shocked right there,
Yeah,
because like you can tell he is shocked, but like maybe like a Superman,
yeah. Let
type thing.
let him rage at it. Let him be distraught.
Yeah. Like I think they could have lined that up to be just a little bit more
No more.
emotional.
Yeah.
But who am
No, sorry. I just remembered I wanted to say something about them, and it popped in my head. So,
I?
all right, go back to
Yeah, it's all good.
the Sinners.
No, that's about all I have for that. It's breaking records, still making money, kicking it. Yeah. Next up, I had Jeremy Renner has stated that he turned down season 2 of Hawkeye because they only wanted to give him half his season 1
Saw
salary.
that.
That is crazy.
That's crazy to me. Like that show would only exist with him. And I mean, I guess there's the Haley Steinfeld aspect of it, but I mean, you need him in it. And I don't know why you're trying to shortchange the man. Like he's been there since the beginning. Give him his money. As
Been there since the beginning. He's got he just had that big accident
right,
and everything where he almost died. Like,
could be his comeback.
yeah, like do this dude right.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's pretty dirty.
Yeah, John Malkovich from Rounders, pay that man his money.
Pay this man his money.
Exactly. The best line read of all time. God, I love it. It's up there with that. I finally watched that Sesame Cake thing.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
Same kind of idea.
Yeah. I told you, man,
It's good.
that scene is wonderful.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Yeah. Holly came over. When Holly was over, we had some cookies from Tops, and she was eating one, and I did that to her because I showed her the clip earlier in the day, and she lost it pretty good.
yeah, that's an all-time classic right there. I hope that one sticks around.
I hope so too. Yeah, it probably is.
I use that one with Sarah all the time.
And she gets the reference, hopefully.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. She's never seen. Once again, yeah, same thing. She's never seen the movie, but I've shown her that clip enough times.
That's good enough.
Yeah. Sometimes she'll just hear me watching it in the other room too.
You just hear a sigh.
Yeah. All right. Did you watch the highest to lowest trailer?
I did.
That looks pretty good.
It looks
right?
it looks like exactly what I want a Denzel movie to be.
Yeah. So Denzel Washington, Spike Lee, they've done a ton of collaboration so far. All of them highlighted in this trailer. And this looks to be another thing where Denzel may get awarded some things, or at least nominated for some things.
He's going for it.
And this is just a teaser. They don't tell what the story is about at all. I read the plot of it, and it is apparently about he's like a music mogul, and there's some sort of ransom plot. I'm excited about this one. It's based on Akira Kurosawa.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just called like High Low or something.
I didn't know that. That's cool. And it also checks out. Spike Lee has, unfortunately, at times covered other Asian cinema. I'm talking about Old Boy and how that turned out.
Yeah, Old Boy sucks.
It did suck.
The remake, that is.
Yes.
The original,
pretty
very
good.
Yeah. Pretty good. All right. Have you seen the Wednesday season 2 trailer?
I did not see that. No, I saw that. I was watching other trailers and I saw that. I'm like, I'll get to that. So I should have clicked on it.
It looks pretty good. It looks like a lot of fun. I mean, she's like fun sadistic in it, but it just kind of reminded me that like I would love to see her being Jenna Ortega go like full sadistic killer in a movie at some point.
It's gonna happen.
Did you watch the Smashing Machine?
I did, and I'm in for it. Like I didn't think I was going to be. I'm like, this is gonna be The Rock going for an Oscar bait movie, but it looks good.
Yeah, it does look good, and like it is The Rock going for an Oscar in an Oscar bait movie, but it does look good.
Yeah.
You know?
Emily Blunt,
And,
MVP. She's gonna bring it.
yeah. I think, I mean, in all honesty, if anybody's going to walk out of it with a nomination, I bet it'd be Emily Blunt.
That's probably true.
And it's 100% an Oscar bait part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how many times you seen that?
Oh.
Rocky, The Fighter, like it really is. But
$1 Million Baby.
if it ain't broke, like,
Yeah.
So if she brings it, you know, I bet it's like a guaranteed nomination.
What's that Russell Crowe boxing movie?
Cinderella
Man. Only remember about that movie is just Paul Giamatti shouting, "You can do it, Jimmy!"
Just overacting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the woman in that one? Is it Renee Zellweger?
Or Naomi Watts?
Naomi Watts?
Could be Renee Zellweger. Keep talking. I'll look that one up.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Did you watch I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah, that looks like garbage.
It does look like garbage, doesn't it?
It looks
like,
so
oh
bad.
God.
It looks like Sci-Fi Channel bad. Like, yeah, like no offense to Sci-Fi Channel movies, but also all the offense in the world because that looks like ass.
Yeah, it looks legitimately terrible.
Yeah.
Like, remember when I told you last episode? I was like the teenagers they chose for this movie look completely unbearable to watch.
They all are so far from the trailer.
Yeah, you can see that they kind of hint at one of them being like the new like final girl, and they just didn't give that character much screen time, probably because they're like, oh, let's show the unbearable people, so you want to see them get killed,
right,
or something, I guess.
Yeah, and I know What You Did Last Summer has always been kind of in the shadow of Scream, kind of like a Scream ripoff, a lesser Scream in a lot of people's opinions. And legit, that opening, because the first kill they show in the trailer is the opening scene in the movie, I'm pretty sure. And it looks so much like Casey Becker's house from Scream, it's almost insulting.
And then when they do the whole thing with the guy coming back, and he's almost like, these things have happened before. These aren't the first violence in this area. Like, just Dewey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Ray Parker Jr. character. Not Ray Parker Jr. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. Ray Parker Jr.
He's playing Ghostbusters.
I talked about this with Mika G, who does another podcast here, and she pointed out that this movie is a requel in the sense of exactly what they were talking about in those new movies. Yeah, like Scream 5 and 6. But in 5 they talk about all of these things that a requel will do, and they did it in a sort of meta way, but this is literally doing all the things that they talked about in Scream 5 that you do.
And it doesn't feel like they're being clever about it either. Like it looked bad.
No.
Even
and like the fact that they finish it with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she turns to the screen and she's like, "What did you do last summer?"
It's like, come on.
I was just like, ugh.
Come on, J-Lo. You're better than that.
Yeah.
My J-Lo.
It looks truly.
It looks bad. Like, I hope we're wrong, but the acting looks like garbage. Nothing about it hooked me. Like, it actually, like, it's like, we're slasher fans. We like those kind of movies, but it looks bad. Like
I'll still go see it.
I know,
unless it starts rolling in and people are like, "Do not waste your money on this piece of trash."
In
which case, I probably won't waste my money on that piece of trash.
Yeah. Like if opening night, like the Cinemascore is like an F, I'll avoid it.
All right. Next up, final thing. Did you watch Fear Street Prom Queen trailer?
I did, and that one gives me that one I have hope for. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 3 Fear Street movies. The whole Prom Queen's been a kind of not done to death, but it's been done before, like Carrie, Prom Night, obviously. Yeah, and like it's not like a new thing for horror, but it's one we haven't seen like in a while, so it's cool to.
We haven't seen it in a while, and it's a fun thing. And this is kind of playing a lot of homage to those things in a fun way. It just looks fun. Right?
It does, and everyone goes through prom, so everyone understands the concept. So yeah, it's a great idea. I'm glad they're continuing with the Fear Street brand, and hopefully it's as good as the first 3.
And it's got a retro feel to it too, so I like that. All right, that's all I got for news. You got anything that I missed?
No, I can think of. Let me check my notes. This is the exciting part. This is what everyone likes. Nope.
Cool. So I don't have anything for physical media shows, but I understand you do.
I
Dan.
do. I do have something. A movie I've been meaning to watch forever. The Steelbook went on sale on Amazon a little while back, so I finally grabbed. Haven't watched it yet, but I grabbed the One Cut of the Dead Steelbook.
Yeah, I really like that cover.
Right? Shiny. Whee! So
Yeah, what's the back look like? Oh, that's fun.
So yeah, in the movie, these people go in to make a zombie movie, and then a zombie apocalypse happens. So that's the setup for the movie. I know that's the setup for the movie. I've heard it's very good. It's one of the better found footage movies that's been out in the horror genre. I just been wanting to watch it. Been wanting to watch it. Haven't done it yet. Grab this. I gotta watch it at some point, and I'm excited to give it a watch.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either, but I will definitely have to be watching it. It's been on my list for a good while here,
Yeah.
so yeah, let me know what you think.
I will.
Cool. Well, that's all we have today, folks. So next week we're doing our top 10 of 1993 episode.
What a year.
Pretty excited about that. It's a very, very good year. Some of my favorites in this year. So join us then for that one. And Dan, thank you for joining me again.
Of course, my friend.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.